Pansikyong shoshle nyeming tensi kunsali we tag Canada ni tangye chewa di nganzo resources korlai we tag do jina nganzo thanda still develop chigora sigimla andi thonda nganzo resources yaku mindura becomes andi thone nganzo limited resources ki effectively lega khandi chidu gra ni tiwa tojna
I think because any new idea, it's very difficult to absorb and then implement. It takes a lot of time. Even with us in the last 3 years, now almost a little more 4 years, but maybe 3.5 years since we announced this, we already have between 750 to 800 Tibetans who have registered, mostly young people. And we still have issues with the organization. Like in Canada, last time I was discussing, you already have SFT, Tote Choga, all these existing organizations. We don't want to disturb that existing the formation already, and then others might have, might think about ulterior motives that we might have. We don't have that. We want to bring all Tibetans on one platform, right? So what I have suggested is, what the 5 organizations together do in Toronto normally, let them do. Let them continue to do what they're doing. Don't disturb that. But in addition to that, what WeTag can do is reach out to individual members of parliament. Now in Toronto, we already met with our friends who followed Karim, who followed Arif Irani, met with James Maloney, who won again. Then we met with, who is that? The other one is Ewan Baker from Central Etobicoke. So we met 3 of them. Now the Toronto WeTag should reach out beyond that to members who live on the outskirts of Toronto, around Toronto, where there are no Tibetan constituents. So we have to reach out as much as possible. We have to create a situation that the members of parliament personally, and when you have visitors like Sikyong or Chidi Kanu or members of parliament, anybody coming from other parts of the world, you can always say, oh, this member I know. When you go to Ottawa, don't worry, we'll speak to him and he will meet with you. That's the kind of relationship we need to build. So these are the areas where the WeTag needs to focus, not duplicate or not replicate what is already being done. So you have to do something novel, new, to reach out as much. And different countries have different situations. So in Canada, at least one advantage is we have also spoken to our friends, members of parliament in Ottawa. One of the opportunities in Canada is to intern with the members of parliament during your vacations, and they get paid also. But you don't get paid in other countries if you intern. There are also other possibilities, like just before the election, if maybe WeTag members, one can work with one political party, another can work with another political party, because candidates need support when they campaign. And that's when they want to know you. They need your support. And if you are there at that time, after they win, it's easy to approach them. But we, Tibetans, most of the time, we approach only when we need them. Otherwise, we forget, right? So we shouldn't be doing that. So there are many areas how WeTag can redefine themselves, bring in novelty, because you are young and you are very creative in how you do things, right? Not like us. Depending. First, you have to understand the situation in your country and then decide what will work, what will not work. So these you need to strategize. Now with other governments, what we do, like the United States, it's quite easy for us because we have friends like Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Emerita of the House of Representatives. So what we do is the Office of Tibet, International Campaign for Tibet, and when I go, or if anybody else is going from CDA's side, beginning of the year, every time we have a strategy meeting. Then we decide what we need to do within this year, what are the kind of legislative work we need to do, what are the other events that we need to do, how can members pitch in. So all those we discuss. 3, 4, 5 points. Like 2022, we went with 4 points, right, in consultation with the congressmen, and then we decide what we know. Then Speaker Pelosi makes sure that jobs are distributed to everybody. So that's how we need to approach, understand the system. What you're going to say in the United States will not work in Portugal. So you have to understand the political situation in Portugal. And I also look at export-import, balance of trade between countries, who is on the losing side. We point out these to them, because when we advocate, we also tell the more business you give to China, you make China stronger. The reason why China is strong today is because of what America did to China over the last 40, 50 years. Every time Chinese government is about to fall, then the Americans support it. You don't have to read that many books. Just read one book, Kissinger on China. You will understand the whole thing, right? So similarly, you have to understand political system, political parties, who's more important, all that, and then reach out to the right person. If you reach out to the wrong person, there will be no result, even if how much ever hard you try, because you are knocking the wrong door, right? So that's why we need to know our way around. Langa shengwaya, netang shengwaya, and then strategize. This year the and then you can plan all your activities. And don't step on other people's foot or feet, right? Do your own thing independently. And the last time I was in Toronto, we had a fundraising for VTAC. That was the first one. In fact, I have been, if we have to be self-sufficient in our advocacy work, then we need to be independent financially to do all those things. So what I had suggested was for the Tibetan associations to organize one gala dinner or even to raise fund for VTAC, so that the VTAC doesn't have to focus on raising fund, but focus on advocacy. So they got a little more than $10,000 in one night in Canada. So that is an example. That's an example of how we can move forward, working closely with other organizations, the Tibetan community, the Students for Free Tibet, you have Tibet support groups, so many groups. Try to take everybody along, and build a good coalition of all the Tibet supporters. And again, I'm doing that. Nubanyam to Pong Siadi, Yunguata. Shabat Nubanyam Pong to Omar was so Shigidena. Yeah.
Gongla Kamsang Shay, Naming Latin Zipusan Lay, and in Atanda Saratolobla, Yijanga Jangshibai, Lomaji Chaido, and Matring Chiwadi, Nye Chiwadi, Mixi Sokshe, Tanda Didang, Chetang, Si Nigagi, Mixi Takata, Chai de Ne, Gongolagi, Tandabado Yamyong, Digi Tola the Chaidera, the Chiwamaku Gongola, Karshidusana, Atandaba the Chiwad and the Gongola Zube, Kawankala, Chiwa, Takarkura, and the Tematambo Chaido. This is a Chiwaku Ekos like his Tigla, Tomesho and Annie, Gomakunimasan Shay.
Yeah, I get to go to which now.
The Niki Chiwadi Pichikumoro Chaidera. The Gongola Tumbaina Anzo Nosa Gamgichumuchoki, Chai Baji Chai Yori, the Ananxing Anzo Pemisa, Choki, Sension, the Penang Shu, Samagita.
Penang things said Dundam boom sums lagda. They said Dunda boom yes, the tongue to say Chul High or Marta, Parsari. That the Kale Kalang to Juatang. No, Honda.
And it's
Catching my hello.
아니 가라서 비미 용 기타 공원라 가라서 비미 용 기 진짜직 자기 열에 더 공원라기 이겐쿠르 망보지 난게 열와 디 낭백업슬라야 강예 땡에 강예 최종 간이러지는 강예 티어리를 삼기들와 강예 디 테백업슬라 공원라기란 게 딜라 동렌 간이러스는 게 강예 테백업슬라 가서 삼점 샘슉 차기 된데도 소소라 초와직 레기래 되네 초와딜라 Simshuk Machani, the Mutune, Donglen, Nadang, Ani, Candidates Nangan and Shirons. The Tanda at Tuaku where you can send the kind and Shiana and Tandanga Kondo Shubanashinga, Saratolola Yijangira, Manzo Toloblat and the Chokchung Jigure, Dikshung Sikyong Sopan Gongla Kengire, Danging and Zuki, Lotarishing and Sara Latanda, Peripetroling and the Kodik Shigure, Dangido Chashan and Zoki. Chokchung Gongone, Gongola, 군den조 랑지 된데 슈티어라 아니 땅도 촉비 나로라 미축직 마도요 말에 이내 미축직 디기 나로라 ngarando 찾아봤냐 속쉔게레네 로직 로직이링가라 겐쿠 키이라 디디오 갑라 망보직다 미기 시간에 상마 카가이드 선발 망보직다 동len 치고 기도 선발라 당무스나 나랑아 스트레스 슈레스라 안 믹스는 이제 이것도 더 스트레스를 담을 삼정 스쿠티디 이제 더 상이 간디 차이 나서는 직 셈데라 망불리니라 이내 nga 미축직들 안데까니 티서 뭐 기만에 셈슉 창에로 엔데라 서알레스 참으셔야나 이내 양 셈슉 디스틱 엔데 서알레스 데네 레갈레야 투슈 땅메르바 이내 모트네 라치 아니 이내 또 공을 찾좀 봤는다 nga 미축직디 갖고지 마라 이내 공을 찾았다 미보 된데 망부직이다 디치도 선발라다 딜라 동len 가리르스는 게 나서
당부디에 남준이 즉 슈드고요. 나 로벤 삼도를 비행한저 삽정실 된데 슈버레싱에 디 슈디에 디 가서 아주 나라를 주고 슈중에 가서 런던에 슈에 이마 이게 사실 샤발레 슈드고요. 림부치 spoke for 1 hour. In fact, 장구샤비는 아디 빠라데 니 때 쇼샤 림부치 걸었는데 니 세디 섬 림부치 걸어 투샤 슈지 찌 걸어 나오. Topic karre responsibility of Tibetan youth towards the movement ladre. And Rinpoche didn't say one word about what youth's responsibilities are or is, right? He defined the 2 words, lenge in Tibetan and responsibility, which is the equivalent in English, right? So when you say lenge or in Hindi kartavya, then it has to come from within you. You have to decide what you want to do as your responsibility is, right? But when you use the English term responsibility, it originates from the term response. So response is when somebody asks you to do something, then you decide whether you want to do it or not, right? So there is this difference in the usage of terminology which also defines mentality of the people who use the language, right? So there for English speaker to say responsibility and thinking about the word, and a Tibetan speaker speaking about lenge, totally 2 different things about how you conceive in your mind and how you implement it. So, and another thing, differences of opinion is natural. Because ngazu phebe khabel yorwa mi sumjul samlo sumju nzo sumjul raju thukjus lagi yorwa ta. The Pebeki Kabedi Yashesaleya Jabarina, if you expand that phrase, then it's 8 billion people in this world. We won't have, even if we go around the whole world, we will not find a similar lady like Kosala in any part of the world with the same physical features. No one. You will not. Maybe they are similar looking people. 아주 베베 카발리야 드라부드블 하세 톰로 요라이 저어봐 드라부드브 모두 찍고 드라부드니 용아요 맞다 수부 that many physical differences we have, that many mental differences are there. Even with twins who are born just few seconds after each other, few minutes after you spend the whole life together, they won't think the same. So differences of opinion is natural because people are of different ages, different education, different experience, you know, the environment that you were born, the community that you lived in, everything is different. It's not same. Even if you see the same object now, let's say after this session, every one of you write one page of your opinion about this session. Everybody will have a different view, right? Or maybe slightly different view, maybe little common things. So if you understand that, then you don't have to worry about other people's opinions. First, you have to be truthful to yourself, right? If you are not truthful to yourself, then you cannot be truthful to others. So as a politician, when His Holiness devolved his political, administrative responsibility, people did ask His Holiness, oh, now you have separated church from the state, and you know, what impact will this have? His Holiness said, if a politician is driven by spiritual values, then that person will be a better politician. Now, in our case also, every single day, this morning I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Now what time I reach home, I don't know. But before going to sleep, I have to think about what I did today. I also have to think about what are the events tomorrow, day after, all that. Think, but don't take tension. If you take tension, it will not resolve problems. It will muddy your mind. Leave the problem outside your mind and then start thinking about it, because for every problem there is a solution. Just like there is sun and darkness, light and dark, it's natural. If there is a problem, there will be a solution. Now the question is whether the solution could be immediate, or some solutions we'll have to give time. You know, we cannot rush things. And if you try to rush things, it might get worse. Right? And then you think holistic, not a very narrow-minded thinking. If you think narrow-minded, then you think only about yourself, your people from your region, your religion, to whatever tradition, then your mind becomes very narrow. If you think holistic, bigger picture, then you can apply your mind more. Now, in my case here, you have to be equipped with the instruments that you need to carry on your responsibility. I have been in the parliament for 20 years. Even after 20 years, I was not sure whether I can be a good Sikyong or not. Now, after 25 years, then I thought that maybe compared to a lot of others, I have enough experience to understand all the laws, because I was speaker, and we made amendments during our time, many of them. I understand economics and accounts and money, physical, because my background is economics. So I have also been in the budget estimate committee for many years when I was a member of parliament, so I understand how the money is distributed to departments. So if you understand the laws, regulations, how money works, how much is coming, where it's going, from where it's coming, how you need to keep that in tune with the rules of the host country, because we have to follow the law of the land, right? So all our accounting system has to be in conformity with Indian laws. So if you understand all these things, then every single day our job is troubleshooting. Every person who comes in our office, they have some problem or other. So all your mind have to gear towards resolving problems. To resolve problems, you have to understand the situation in its entirety. Then you can come up with the right solution. So if you look at Israel and Gaza now, whether you are resolving one problem now or are you creating more problems in future, nobody knows. There's so much violence happening, so many people are being killed right in front of your eyes, and you will have this feeling of revenge, taking revenge all the time. At whatever age you reach, that will remain all your life, right? So a solution should be such that it resolves a present problem and it does not cause more problems in the future. That is a meaningful solution. Right? So think. If there is a problem, you think right now, you cannot think about, just leave it for the time being, 1 hour, 2 hours, one night, one day. It's okay. Even when you are sitting on the potty, you might get solutions. When you are traveling in a bus, car, if you keep thinking about that problem, then solution will come if you have the know-how and the instruments to carry it. So you don't, and you have to be committed, just like Professor Samdor Rinpoche defined these two words, and finally he said, I am a Tibetan, you are a Tibetan, I am nobody to tell you what your responsibility is. So in our case also, my father encouraged me to take up, follow His Holiness, serve the cause, but then you have to convince yourself. Once you are convinced, and as long as you do your job well, you don't have to worry about what others are saying. If you do something wrong, then you always have to fear who might find out about this. You have to live in fear all the time, and you will not be able to speak your mind. So your personal integrity is also very important. So there are so many facets to understand that as you grow, then you will learn to handle more and more problems, resolve more and more problems, challenges. So it is an accumulation of experiences that will make you, and if you become the best thing is to be good in psychology. Right? If you good in, ultimately everything boils down to psychology. Even an old person I may going to meet with, I may be spending 15, 20, 30 minutes for that, but that person really appreciates Sikyong coming when I'm sick and all that. So that builds people's faith in you, your relation with other people. And your actions cannot be just acting. It has to be genuine. It has to come from within you. People can see your face and find out whether you are acting or you are being genuine. So, 소수 그 담자 땜부유나 어따 수직을 시하고 말해. 수직을 짜고 해요 말해. 학벌도 로함 최고에 쩌니려 말. 단도 미 독자 방문 나거든나 소수 된다 누구요 버디 다 땡고 다 된거요. 된다 누구면은 미규 누구 말 봐. 언데네 지도서만 뒤에 아주 지도 독수 가르쳐 소수 내가 제모체 미 쟁행들이야 견주시. 쟁행지기 쟁행 심바지를 러버이는 어수와. 소수지의 제모가 제 기부치는 대 손도지 신이세요. 단대 손도지 연애야 그래. 디시 아니 밀을 쟁행들 견주 미 봐줘 라자요 말에 개구지요 말에 아니 심슈 차야가 시차시기를 봐. 이내 심슈 소수솔로 때문에 심슈 뒤 남녀 차고 말에 가져도 지나 단다 민간에 갈라고 내려 똥라고 내려 계시 윰쟁이 유연이라기나 if it's a reasonable complaint then we have to take it even if it's your enemy or somebody whom you totally dislike that you should not discriminate because the other person doesn't like you if the suggestion is constructive and if it is 윰쟁이 파 깨져셔네 윰쟁이 둬서 매우체 추 깨져셔네 윰쟁이 매겨들에 있는 약을 제거해요 말 그 자야래 마도 지기 저번에는 펜타고 말봐 아니 슈레세는 달래 독차로 와 안디 내주 누르르 마도 야르도 말봐 뒤 이제 선바 롱드네 랑셔바 있나 speak less 롱랑서나 just go away from people 가서 안 칸에 간주문지 정말 와 롱랑도 선바 밸런스 상황 촉살 레버 밸런스 촉살 you cannot think reasonably so a lot of things get uttered from you 칸에 마지 된사지서만 가야 루게인 라사요만 So 파마냠도 인바이네 if you say something bad to your mother or father because you got angry 아니 되게 군중 까난 것도 와 whenever things happen it does not happen because of one particular reason it's a multiplicity of reasons that makes that event happen so first you point at yourself as to whether you are right or wrong then you start pointing fingers at others if you find that you are wrong also then you are equally to be blamed for that situation. Then why point fingers at others? Right? So these are small, I call it the nuggets of Buddhism, which really helped me in navigating my life, in political life or personal life or whatever. So this is some small things through my experience as to how you see it publicly, right? 건조 보고 충주는 지구에는 안조 보고 충주는 전에 팽이 말와. 셴바가 충주 지구에는 수수대에서 개발한 시 자고를 마도 지금 시경 민기대로 와.